Our guest tonight is TNA star, the Miracle, Mike Bennett. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Can't complain. We got the Miracle on the show. First time we've ever had a Miracle on the show. Listen,
Hopefully, it's the only time you have a miracle on the
it
show.
probably will, not unless you come back, of course. Which, come on
Yeah,
back.
well, yeah.
Yeah, your
Hopefully,
debut, your debut during Impact Wrestling's first episode on Pop was the highlight of the show for many fans. What went into your decision to sign with TNA, and how did it feel? How did it feel getting out there for the first time?
you know, the whole situation with TNA was really one of those things where we were, we knew that the Kingdom was, and Ring of Honor was really on its peak, or at least almost to its peak, and we really wanted to take a leap of faith because we didn't want to stick around and just ride, just be like, well, the Kingdom's doing good, so let's just sit back and not be innovative or new or, reinvent ourselves. And we thought it's always better to leave out on top and leave them wanting more. Um, so we were really like, it's time for a change. But we didn't know what exactly that change would be for me and Maria. And then we were on our 3-week tour of Japan. When we came back, we knew our Ring of Honor contracts were coming up. And while we were just in Japan, TNA was calling us saying, we have this deal with Pop. We have this deal with Pop. We want to bring you in. We think this will be great. We want to do this. And it just, to us, it was one of those things where we were like, should we wait and weigh out our options, or should we just go and make that decision? And sometimes there's a lot to be said about a company that really wants you and really wants to fight for you, regardless of anything. So we were just like, you know what, this is it. And we made our decision, and we were like, let's go do it. And as far as walking out that first time, it gave me goosebumps because I felt like the wrestling, the internet wrestling world and wrestling in general is really in like this boom period, and there's a lot of free agents going around, and it was really, really cool to be one of those free agents that everyone was talking about. And the minute Maria walked out, that place just exploded, and I got goosebumps. I was like, wow, this is going to be something special. And while we were in the ring cutting that promo, all I could think about is we have something special here. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's going to click, and I guarantee you it's going to work.
Mike Chiori?
Well, it's already
Yeah.
apparent that you have a really unique character with the Miracle. So what went into making that a reality? Who created that gimmick, and what was either your reaction or TNA's reaction when it was first presented?
It was it's one of those things where when I was actually 16 years old, and I was a skinny little kid in high school, and I had just started training to be a pro wrestler, I was hanging out with my buddy, and he said, you should call yourself the Miracle, Mike Bennett. And I was like, wow, that really sticks. Sure, I'll do that. So when I was 16, before anyone had a clue what I was, and I was a terrible wrestler in bingo halls and gymnasiums, I was the Miracle Mike Bennett. And then I progressed from that and went on and did stuff in Ring of Honor. But then when we finally decided to sign with TNA, David Lagana gave us a call, and he's like, I'm thinking this is a good name. And he said the Miracle. And me and Maria kind of looked at each other and laughed. And he didn't understand why we were laughing. I was like, did you know that did you Wikipedia it or something? And he had no clue that I used to call myself that. So I was like, you know what? It's just life and wrestling. It always comes full circle. So it just seemed like fate. And I was like, let's take it and let's play with it. And then he started sending me the vignettes that they were making up. And that's when my wheels started moving. And when I thought, what could I make this? What can I take from them that they think this should be and really turn it into Mike Bennett? Because I didn't want to lose my past, because my past is what made me. The Kingdom made me. New Japan made me. Ring of Honor made me. So I'm still that guy, because if I'm not that guy, then it's not a big deal that I'm coming out. I'm just Joe Schmo who TNA just signed. But if I'm still Kingdom Mike Bennett, IWGP tag that Mike Bennett, Ring of Honor tag, then I'm somebody. So I started taking, the vignettes and wheeling and going to Maria, who's my brainchild in life and everything, and asking her what we should do. And that's really what I came up with. I came up with this guy who is going to save pro wrestling and save TNA in particular. Everyone's talking about this new deal on Pop. Well, who's the best guy to have as your front man and the Miracle, the guy who's going to save TNA? That's really how I brought it all full circle for me.
Brandon Galvin?
Well, the main reason I tuned into TNA's debut on Pop was for the possibility to see your debut, and I wasn't disappointed in the slightest. I thought you and Maria stole the show from her introduction to your awesome theme music and then your excellent promo. You said you're excited and you got goosebumps from that debut, but was there anything that you would have changed?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I didn't. I've never even thought about that. To me, I don't. I don't think so. I don't like to live in the past and live with regrets. I feel as a perfectionist and as an entertainer, I obviously I sit back and I watch my matches and my promos, and I sit into myself and think like, oh, you should have said that better, or you should have moved this way, or you should have looked at the camera when you said that, or taken your sunglasses off. But as far as a whole, I thought everything from Maria's part to the entrance to the music to the lighting, it exceeded my expectations. I've said this before, like I just felt like that night, everyone in the company, from writers to ring crew to myself to Maria to the camera guy to the everyone, the music guy, everyone was just on point. And it just, to me, that moment was something that you can look at and you can say, wow, that was the moment that everything changed. That's the type of, no pun intended, but that's the impact you need to be a major player in pro wrestling. So to me, that's kind of like, even when I watched it back, again, I critique myself ridiculously amounts, but as a whole, the whole package itself, I thought it definitely exceeded my expectations.
One of the dream matches now that you're a part of the TNA roster is a battle against Ethan Carter III. Is this a feud that would interest you, and do you feel it would be a better matchup in the ring or on the mic?
I think, to me, this whole, because I've been getting tweets about it, which I love, because that just means people are talking about it, which is great. To me, this whole EC3 thing, I think, is exactly what TNA needs. It's they just bring in a free agent. They already have the guy that the company's based around. Let's take these two young guys that people seem to be buzzing about, and let's build this company around them. And I've said this before, I'm ready to take this company, put it on my back. I feel like me and Maria have already started doing that. But as far as like one of the biggest reasons why I love this idea of this Mike Bennett EC3 is because of the mic work that we can do and the promos. I think it's going to start out as people like, wow, these guys are going back and forth and this is really entertaining. And then it's going to build to, wow, we want to see these guys rip each other apart. Let's see what they can offer in the ring. And I mean, I think he's probably one of the best in wrestling on the mic right now. He's one of the best. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his in-ring work. So I'm super excited to see because I think we have two different styles, but very similar styles at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but to me, that's what I feel. I feel like he has a very different style to me, but we have a very same mentality when it comes to wrestling. So I think this is the feud that a year from now, people are going to say, wow, that's just what TNA needed.
MJ?
Staying on the EC3 topic, there's obviously a lot of parallels between you guys, as you mentioned. But did seeing what TNA did with EC3 with regard to pushing him to the top and making him their world champion so quickly, did that factor at all into your decision to sign with TNA? Did that type of commitment appeal to you?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like in the past year, my most successful run in wrestling has been this past year, but it's been in tag team wrestling, which is great. I love tag team wrestling, and I got to travel the world with my best friend and my wife, and I got to do it, and I got to win the IWGP tag belts, which to me it's so prestigious. Like, if you told me as a 5-year-old that you'd win those, I'd be like, no, you're wrong. I'll never even go to Japan. But there's something extremely satisfying and extremely tempting and motivating about a company coming to you and giving you the ball and wanting you to run with it. I never got that opportunity in Ring of Honor. And it's no one's fault but my own. I got it in tag team wrestling, and I'm super grateful for that, but I never got it as a singles wrestler, and I should have done more to make that happen in Ring of Honor. But now TNA is coming to me, and they're giving me the ball, and I saw what someone who is hungry enough and talented enough can do when they give the ball and they run with it, like EC3 did. So I'm like, to me, I'm like, yeah, give me the ball. I know I can do this. Put the company on my back, and let's roll.
Mike Chiari?
Well, maybe the one negative about your move to TNA in the eyes of many wrestling fans was the dissolution of the Kingdom, like you mentioned before. Obviously, regarded as one of the top stables out there. Right now, Matt Taven's injured, but could you see yourself rejoining forces with him and Adam Cole at some point in TNA? Or, like you just said, is your preference right now to proceed solely as a singles guy?
You know, I, 100% honest, I could totally see us coming back together in TNA. Because I said it today, I put out a tweet just to kind of tease with fans, but I feel like the Kingdoms don't die, they just expand. And I feel like that's what the Kingdom's doing right now. We talk about the Kingdom a lot as what we see on TV, but the Kingdom in reality is actually kind of like what the Clique was in WWE. We are actually, the four of us are all best friends. I mean, me and Maria are husband and wife. I've known Taven since he broke in. Me and Adam Cole are the ones who got each other jobs at Ring of Honor just through dark matches. So we are actually best friends. We talk on a daily basis. I talk to Taven every day about his knee surgery. The Kingdom's it's not just what you see on TV. The Kingdom is 100% real. I think that's why it works so well. So for me to sit here and say, no, that's never going to happen, it would be foolish of me, because that'd be like saying, well, the four of us are never going to be friends again. I can 100% see the four of us in TNA, just wanting Rough House like we did in Ring of Honor. But I would be very surprised if you never see the Kingdom together again. That would surprise me. I would put money on the fact that the Kingdom would definitely get back together at some point.
BG?
What has the atmosphere been like backstage at TNA compared to other companies? How have you and Maria been received since coming to TNA?
In all honesty, it's been really great. It's funny because in wrestling, when I got to TNA, I think I probably had met or knew 90% of the roster already, just because the wrestling world is so little, and you just kind of meet up through through indie shows or tryouts, or you're just hanging out with other wrestlers and they know other wrestlers, so you all go out hanging out and have a good time. Like, that's just how the wrestling world is. But to me, the biggest thing that stood out is how much the work ethic of every single guy in TNA. It's unbelievable. And I'm not saying I didn't expect that. I'm just saying I expected it, and they blew me away, because, like, to do 5 shows in a row of tapings is extremely grueling. And it's extremely grueling for the guys who are not only filming in one-night Impact matches, they're filming Explosion matches, and they're filming one-night-only matches. These guys are killing themselves. I mean, I think Eric Young might have wrestled like 12 times, and he went out there and killed it every single time. Bobby Roode, the same thing. James Storm. And to see Kurt Angle keep doing what he's doing for 5 days in a row, like, it's so inspiring. And to me, that's what I took away from it, is the locker room inspired me to be better. I thought there was never going to be a locker room that could do that besides Ring of Honor or New Japan. And then I came here and I was like, I feel the same way. These guys want to kill it just like everyone else did. I hate this perception that the morale is down or the morale is low. No, everyone just wants to go and kill it, and everyone believes in what TNA is bringing. The morale, if anything, these past 5 days was through the roof. Everyone was like, holy cow, we have a great thing here. From production to writers to wrestlers, everyone was like, let's go put this on the map. Let's go show that Pop invested in the right wrestling company, and let's go do it and kill it. And that's what I loved about it.
MJ?
You and Maria have obviously been vital parts of each other's on-screen characters for quite some time, and I think a lot of fans are really happy to see that it's carrying over to TNA. But were you two always going to be a package deal, or could there have been a scenario where either just you or just her would have signed with TNA or another company?
It was one of those things where we were just kind of taking it as it comes. We don't ever say, because if you think about it the way we look at it, as we're a husband and wife first. So that comes first. We're a family first. It's me and her, and what's best for me and her is always going to be what's best. So if that meant her going somewhere by herself and me going somewhere by herself, we would have done it. If it meant us going together, we would have done it. If it meant her not working and me just working, we would have done it. If it meant me just working or me not working and her just working, we would have done it. It's whatever is best for us as a couple. That's why we always say we're a couple first that just happens to be pro wrestlers, because I think every couple has that tough decision of, the guy gets a good job in San Francisco. Is it worth to move the whole family out to San Francisco? I think every family deals with that, just like we deal with that. And if the scenario came that WWE wanted Ring of Honor or WWE wanted Maria and Ring of Honor wanted me, I'd go there. If there's TNA wanted Maria and WWE wanted me, we'd do that. But it just so happened that what was best for us, not only as wrestlers, but as a couple first, was TNA wanted the package deal. So that's really how we came to our decision.
BG?
I think it's safe to say most expect you to contend and win the TNA World Championship very soon. Donnie mentioned EC3, but the biggest match I would like to see for you is against Lashley. Is there anybody along the way that you're looking forward to wrestling against the most?
Oh, God. I think that was one of the most intriguing parts of me coming over was the talent. I mean, there's so many great guys. It's funny that my pay-per-view debut was against Robbie E, because I've literally known him since I started wrestling. So it was just kind of ironic that we got put in that match together. But, I mean, I know this hopefully it'll happen, but I doubt it since Kurt's retiring. But I'd love to get in there with Kurt just because he's Kurt friggin' Angle and he's the man. But I mean, I just want to get in there with, Bobby Roode, definitely, Eric Young, James Storm, all these guys that I think are super talented. And it's funny, Eddie Edwards is another guy who we literally started training together in Massachusetts. So I've had great matches with him. And the last time we wrestled, I think I've gotten a million times better. So I'd love to see what me and him could do, or me and Davey could do. There's just so many guys that I'd love to see. But to me, on top of that list is it's got to be EC3 right off the bat. I think there's something special there.
Oh, and now that you've signed with TNA, you left Ring of Honor, you big move, your career's moving forward. You're a key building block for TNA. What are your long-term goals with the company?
To me, it's like I said, I want to take the company, put it on my back, and say, let's go. I want to be that guy. To me, that's my motivation. My motivation is the pressure of being that guy. To me, it's not worth it. I want to be that guy. I want to be world champ that the company builds around and moves forward. I've said this a million times, and I hope this gets around because I really want it to. I want to be to TNA what Stone Cold was to the WWE during the Attitude Era. I know that's a huge statement, and I'm not comparing myself to Stone Cold because I think he's legit one of the best who've ever laced up the boots, but I want to be looked at as that guy that, well, this is what happened, but then, holy cow, Mike Bennett showed up, and it was gravy train from here on out. I want to be that impact player at that moment. I want that pressure. I think, to me, that's what it's all about. If you don't live for that, then, what's the point of being there?
Perfect. You know what? A huge thank you to the Miracle Mike Bennett, here to save wrestling. Tell the fans where they can support you, man.
Go on to Twitter at The Real Mike Bennett or Instagram at Real Mike Bennett. I tweet a lot to fans. I like interacting with fans. And despite popular belief, I don't just talk to the trolls. I do talk to the positive people, too. So I love talking to my fans. I get a kick out of what they have to say. So, please tweet me, please follow me. That's where you'll be able to interact with me the most.
Another huge thank you, Mike Bennett. Good luck moving forward, man.
Thanks a lot, guys. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.